This is going to be a review of the Heckler & Koch Mark 23. The Mark 23 is a Browning style semi-automatic hammer-fired gun. Has a 12-round magazine capacity. It is a polymer lower and a steel slide and barrel. The Mark 23 was developed for the offensive handgun weapon program. The special operations units use these. I believe it entered service in 1996. Heckler & Koch beat out the Colt. It was the only other offering. It uses polymer, whereas the Colt did not, which greatly reduces the weight. It has a just under 6-inch barrel. The gun had to be able to withstand the rigors of the Navy SEALs. And so it has a Maritime Finish. This is basically a lacquer paint. So that's why it's so shiny. The barrel is also coated with this. One issue I have noticed since owning it is prone to chipping off pretty easily. The barrel gets the most beating, but the slide is also easily chipped. You can see I got this used, and it had a couple of small chips when I got it. I got it for about $1,500 used. Only been shot a few times. However, a new one will run you about $2,000. The Maritime Finish was replaced with their standard hostile environment finish. It's the one they use for their USP, and it's a little bit more of a dull black. I kind of like this one just because of the history behind it, and I do like it is a little bit more attractive in my opinion, unless you scratch it up. But I guess starting from the front, working our way back, I'll just kind of go over the features of the handgun. It has, like I said, just under a 6-inch barrel. It is threaded for use of the suppressor. It was actually developed along with the Mark 23 Knight's Armament suppressor. Makes a pretty good suppressor host. Because it's fairly soft shooting, and 45 is easy to suppress. Has a O-ring lockup, which is supposed to increase the slide to barrel fitment and increase accuracy. It has a polygonal rifle barrel, and it actually is chrome lined, which is kind of unusual for a pistol, but it's one of the requirements for the handgun. I don't think they make them chrome lined anymore, but the older ones have that. It has a proprietary rail system specific to the Mark 23. It was developed to use a LAM, laser aiming module, which is this big hunk of a thing that hangs off the front, which are quite expensive, and they don't make them anymore. So it has an enlarged trigger guard for use with gloved hands, an extended slide release, ambidextrous magazine release, has a separate decocking lever and safety. It can be fired in single action and double action. It has a steel magazine and plastic base plate. It has these aggressive pyramids on the front and back, and it has more moderate stippling on the sides of the handgun, which I think are just the right amount for holding on to it. The sights are raised, and they're just the standard combat sights, so this one came with just these white dots. However, they do have a night vision sights as well. I believe they just have these standard sights because they would normally be using that laser aiming module, so they didn't need night sights on it. However, I don't have one, so it would be nice to have the night sights. But yeah, I'll just kind of show you the operation of it. So you can use the safety, which is ambidextrous, whenever the gun is in single action. And then you just swipe down on the decocker to put it in double action. And then you can't use the safety at that point because, you know, the idea is you carry it in double action or you carry it in single action with the safety on, cocked and locked like a 1911. Shooting the handgun, it has quite a bit of muzzle flip, I will say, because you got a high bore axis and then you've got such a huge chunk of metal, you know, moving back and forth on the top of the gun. However, it is soft shooting, and I will say it's very accurate, much more accurate than I would be. It has a very long sight radius, which definitely increases the accuracy when you're shooting. I just think it's a cool gun. I always wanted one. Saw it in some movies. I'll give you a closer look at the barrel. Prepare to be horrified because the barrels on these guns get beat to hell. You can see that lacquer paint is coming off. This is, again, about 2,000 rounds, and it'll start eating itself up at about, within the first 100 rounds, it'll start wearing pretty quick. However, it's not going to affect the gun, so don't worry. It may look ugly, but the gun functions perfectly fine. It's just that outer coating. The barrel itself is fine. So if you can get past the aesthetics of the barrel, overall I think it's a pretty awesome handgun. So yeah, thanks for watching.